Hi guys, it's Brittany. So, today's gonna be a back in time watches video, and today I'll be sharing with you the first time that I've watched the movie Frankenstein. And it's just a really good, classic, universal monster movie, and it's just, so good to watch. And for those who haven't seen it but would like to, this is what it's about. The iconic horror film follows the obsessed scientist Dr. Henry Frankenstein as he attempts to create life by assembling a creature from body parts of the deceased. Aided by his loyal, misshapen assistant, Fritz, Frankenstein succeeds in aiming his no in animating his monster, but it escapes into countryside and begins to wreak havoc. Frankenstein searches for the elusive being and eventually must confront his tormented creation. So, yes, this is just a really good monster movie. And I remember, I'm trying to think here, when I had first watched it, it was, yes, I remember when I had first watched Frankenstein, it was actually when I was quite young. And so, hang on, let me try to put this here just to give some light. Okay, yeah, I think that's good. And so, yeah, I remember watching this when I was quite little, and of course now watching this, it didn't scare me, but I just remember where I did feel bad though. Like, I felt bad for the monster because now, of course, um, I know there are some that might mistake Frankenstein for the monster's name, but it's not. Frankenstein is the name of the doctor that brought the monster to life, but the monster does not have a name. They just call him the monster. So yeah, I remember when I was watching this quite young, it didn't scare me, but I did liked it. But of course, I think with what he was doing, I was confused with what was going on and everything, because I remember I even thought, well, wait a minute, like, wait, what is he doing here? So of course that part I was, like I said, confused with, and I didn't quite understood that part itself. So I did understood that he was bringing these body parts of dead people, and like attaching them together, and to bring like a this creature to life of different body parts. So that I didn't understood. Yeah, that I just didn't understood. So but of course, I still continued watching it. I thought, okay, well, so far this is good, with the story and everything. So yeah, I like the music, the story, even though even that part I did not understood of what was going on. But I thought, well, okay, so he's creating a monster. So yeah, I think that part I thought, okay, so he's creating this monster to bring to life, and as he did, things, of course, things did not go so well, because the brain that his assistant needed to bring was a normal brain, but he didn't brain that because he accidentally dropped it, and of course that was no good to use. So he did got a brain, but that brain, it said abnormal. It said abnormal brain. So, not good. So of course, when with him getting the abnormal brain, that's where things were going wrong, and this is why the creature was acting the way it did, because it wasn't functioning well with a with an abnormal brain, and it wasn't. It's like it couldn't really understand, and it couldn't really cooperate. To really understand with the brain that it had. So I can see how frustrating that must have been, for the creature. And so yeah, I have to use this light for now for my phone, since it is dark in here. Let me just do that. Okay, so yeah, I would have to do this for now. Hope you don't mind. And so, or should I just do this? But then again, even this looks a little, like scary. Or does it look okay? I don't know. Let me know. Yeah, I'll just have it right there. So that's okay. Yeah, that'll be good. So yeah, but like I said, it is a good universal monster movie to watch. It really is. And so even when the creature was brought to life, things, like I said, that's where things were going wrong, and it wasn't really understanding. So I think it, like I said, so it wasn't understanding what it need to understand, and so it just wasn't cooperating. It wasn't really functioning well. And so of course that's where I felt bad for the creature. And so of course it gets loose, and it does cause chaos into the village, into the countryside. And that's where they thought, this is where things go wrong here. It's like, okay, we gotta find it. We gotta find this creature. So I think that's when the Dr. Frankenstein, realized that if this is, since it's getting out of hand, that he would have to pretty much put an end to it, and that would mean killing his creation of bringing this creature to life. And so it of course it doesn't end there, because there's a sequel, and that's The Bride of Frankenstein. And so yeah, I just remember that I actually felt bad, except for the creature, because like he was brought to life when it seemed like he didn't want it to be alive, because he was alive out of dead human body parts. And with the abnormal brain, it didn't make it easier for him to really to really so yeah, with the abnormal brain, it didn't make it easier for him. It made it much harder, more difficult for him. It just made it just very complicated, and it just made it I would say beyond stress, and beyond you know what I mean? It just made things a whole lot more difficult and complicated. And so I think with the creature, he he didn't want it to be alive because I think he knew that he wasn't a living human being, but that he was this creature, but he's alive out of dead human body parts. So yeah, so I think that's one thing he didn't like of himself. So yeah, and the thing is, I just felt bad of what he was, going through and everything. And yeah, just thinking like, oh gosh. Now, like I said, as when I was little, yeah, I felt bad he was going through that, but I didn't realize of, that he was alive of these dead um, human body parts. I didn't realize that until when I was a bit older, and I'm like, oh my gosh. So that's when I came to realize that. And but yeah, I just remember thinking how it was a good monster movie, but somehow I think in a way this isn't the kind of monster to be feared, unless if you threaten the monster, then of course you should be very afraid. But like, if you don't threaten him, then he'll leave you alone. You know. But I think this, I would say this is the one monster where I think you've kind of, where you do feel bad for him, and you do feel in a way where you kind of sympathize for him, because like, gee, this shouldn't have happened, you know, but it did. And this is something he didn't like. He didn't like himself because of it. And I would say that's, in a way, that's smart. I think I would say that's the one thing that at least he didn't like about himself, and that was that. So yeah, so at least he wasn't like a bad, evil kind of monster, but he was more like a monster that he didn't want to be there, because he didn't like how he was alive of dead human body parts. So at least he didn't like that. But I think that so far that's the good part about it. But again, I'm gonna try to make this short since it's getting dark. I will say that yes, I did enjoy watching this, and I did grow up watching Frankenstein, and of course along with the Wolfman, and what else? Some others as well. Oh yeah, even the Mummy. But yeah, Boris Karloff, he did a really great job as the creature in Frankenstein. He really did. So I did grow up with this, and it's something I still like to watch. So yeah, and it's just, I think that's where these movies got me interested in other movies too, like monster movies, and even as I got older, that I started to watch a little bit more of horror movies. So yeah, so I'm glad that I started off watching these classic Universal monster movies at a young age. So I'm really glad of that. So anyway, that is it for the story time. I hope you guys enjoy this. Um, so for more movie content, reaction streams, and the paranormal, subscribe and click on the bell so you'll be notified when I upload. That's all for today, and I'll see you at the movies.